Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Morgan SLV here. Let's go over gold and silver for a quick minute. I'd like to get that out of the way right in the beginning. Gold today is at 1208.25. Silver is at 1829. Today is, let's double check the date here, 7/14/2010. So, you know, it is what it is. You guys just kind of keep an eye on that. I don't feel like I need to go over that in depth with you. That's something you can study on your own. What I like to do is, you know, keep you up to date on what I got going on. Now, you all know that I'm trying to do an ebook. And as I get into this thing, I'm realizing that, you know, it's, and at least to do it in the, you know, at the quality level, the higher standard that I have of doing things, it's going to take me more than 90 days to produce what I want. So what I decided to do is I'm going to split the book up, probably in 4 or 5 sections. One will be on food, one will be on wealth storage, one will be on where you can possibly live to make it more affordable for you and your family if you so desire to move, what you can do for extra income, things like that. So I'm gonna have a series of books, series of short books on just stuff that's on everybody's mind. I mean, because you know, it's really wild. One of the things that I've noticed is I have a lot of friends who had quote-unquote great jobs. I mean, they had full benefit packages. They were respected in their community. They made, you know, either a 6-figure a year income or awful close to it. You know, kids are off to college. They're living the dream. I'm paying for that right now. But here's the deal. Here's what I've noticed is that all of them are still working. Okay? What I mean is, I'm at the age now, I'm 47. What I mean is I have a lot of friends who are retired, but it kind of cracks me up. They're retired and working. Now, I have one friend, he's working a job. Okay, so he's making, I want to say, about $35,000 to $40,000 off the job that I know where he works at, you know, other than his retirement. And then he makes like $4,000 a month off his retirement. And now he's telling me he's looking for a second job. And he's retired. He's got arthritis in both knees. You know, played football and whatnot, so he's living that dream, and great guy. But I see that over and over and over. I mean, I don't know anybody that's retired. I mean, really, right? So everybody's view of retirement is different, and I understand that. My view of retirement is I will work if I want to, and if I don't want to, I'm not going to. And also, on the financial side, is that whatever passive income I have coming in covers my expenses. I don't want to be a burden on my children. You know, I don't want to be a burden on society. I feel either you're going to be part of the solution or you're going to be part of the problem, right? So that's something to think about. Quick little story last night. I was talking to a friend of mine named Anthony. Now, Anthony's about 22 years old. He's studying to become a teacher. So we went over what teachers make in this area, right? And I told him, I said, now here's the deal. I'm not going to go into exactly how much money I make, but when I told him, his eyeballs got as big as saucers, okay? And I told him, I said, dude, it's hard. I mean, I am definitely not, I don't have hundreds of dollars a month just hanging around waiting for something to do. And so I told him, I said, based on what you're telling me, you are studying your rear end off to go get a job and live pretty much in poverty. When I explained to him that the middle class starts at $100,000 and ends at $250,000, he just about passed out. So I told him this. He goes, well, I think I could live on $30,000 or $40,000 a year. I said, yeah, well, that guarantees you a home in a very low income area, number one. Number two, that's okay, I guess, if you're single. I mean, I know that my first home was in a very depressed area, but it was my first home, and I was 20, and I was never home anyway. Well, now I have kids. And the last thing I want is, you know, the dregs of society looking at my daughter, who's yet to be a teenager, going, wow, she's pretty. I mean, I don't want that, and I don't want to sound racist. I mean, you know, what I'm saying is this, and it doesn't matter what color you are, where you're from. If you're living in a depressed area, you have other things to worry about. Like, if you don't lock your car during the day, you might come back and your stereo's gone, or you know, you have to leave your particular little niche in your little neighborhood there to go to the store. Is it safe? Can you go out at night? I know when I bought my first house, there was drug dealers on both sides of me. I was like, what the heck is this? I was making about $75,000 a year. This is back in 1987, and I immediately, once I figured out what I did, I was kicking myself, number one. Number two, I immediately moved up. I immediately moved up. I had lots of toys, I still do, and I want them to be safe, and I want my family to be safe. That's the first and foremost thing, and I want to be able to say hi to my neighbors, and, you know, without getting shot at and whatnot. So I told him, bottom line is this, is let's say you go to school and you get that stuff done, and you really want to be a teacher. I think the kid would be a great teacher, and he's super smart. He wants to be a math teacher, right? And here's the deal. I said, look, if I could show you how to make, say, $500 a month from a website, and you're already telling me you see other teachers getting laid off. Let's dream for just a second, Anthony. I told him this. I said, let's say you make $40,000 a year as a teacher, and I show you how to make $500 a month off your websites. And let's say you do 10 websites. So you got 10 websites, takes you about 20 hours a week or so. I don't know, depending on how smart you are, and he's pretty smart, to maintain these websites. Okay, that puts you at $10,000 a month plus your $4,000. That puts you at $14,000 a month gross. Right? Excuse me, $5,000 a month. That puts you about $9,000 a month. Excuse my math. So the bottom line is this. I told him, I said, look, if you had $5,000 a month coming in on your side business that didn't take up every minute of your life, you could afford to be a teacher. Right? Then you wouldn't have to, if they cut off your benefits, or if you got laid off, that kind of thing. So what I did is I told him this. I told him some websites to go on. One of them is the one we're looking at right now. I told him to research gold and silver a little bit. I told him to go study just a little bit and come back with qualified questions. And I also qualified it with this. If you don't come back with some questions for me, I'm going to lose a little respect for you. Because I'm giving you, no one has ever told you any of this. None of your teachers are ever going to tell you this. They're just going to kind of live in their silent nightmare while they're teaching you to be just like them. And I think that's a shame. So what I am is I'm a cheerleader. As you know, I'm a cheerleader to get people to go study. Now, let's go over food storage for just a minute, because that's going to be my first book. I'm going to read you a little bit here. Excuse how I read. I don't read that fast. I read much faster silently, but let's go. Let's read along. It says, why store food? The question is, the question which could only be asked in a Western nation during the latter 20th century. Oddly enough, in the third world and in our country, in all centuries prior to this one, individual families and communities stored excess food. For instance, archaeological digs have found 2,000-year-old Roman ruins that had pottery in it that were approximately 3 feet, called amphora, that were approximately 3 feet tall, could hold about 30 gallons of liquid and about 50 pounds of grain. And they would find caches of these where they'd have thousands of these amphora full of food. Now, you got to understand, even at that time, they had markets already. They had people, you could just go out and shop and go get your food. Now, that's 2,000 years ago, roughly, right? Now, let's think about it today. Well, I was telling my son today, he goes, well, I don't understand why people would store food. Now, I remember, I'm old enough, I remember I'm sitting here watching cartoons. This is probably 1969 or something like that, and I'm eating my Captain Crunch. Long story short was this. I remember them cutting away and going into like a news flash, and they showed farmers pouring milk down the drain. And I thought, why would they pour milk down the drain? That's cookie dunking milk right there. To a kid my age, I'm like, wow, that is just bizarre. But I watched them pouring gallons and gallons and gallons of milk down the drain. The reason is price controls. They had price controls on the milk, and the farmer said this: if I can't make money bringing it to market, I'm not bringing it to market. And so that's why people still have fears about saving food. Now, my friends who are Mormon out there, I have a lot of friends who are Mormon. They just do that as practice, and a lot of churches do that. They don't talk about it so much at my church, and maybe they should, but I'm gonna get the word out myself. So I'm gonna create a book. It'll probably be 50 or 100 pages, and it's just gonna be basics about storing food, and the underlying theme will be get you guys to study about storing food. So today, I just want you guys to just kind of think about it and see if you can't go get yourself some information on food storage. Once again, gold and silver, take a look at that. Study up Kiyosaki, right? Maloney, Hummel, right? Da Vinci J15. I haven't seen anything new from him for a couple of days. He's going through some changes. I'm kind of going along with him at this point. But just take a look at that, and we'll see you soon. Morgan SLV out.